Quite often, global-believing fantasists will cite the Japanese weather satellite Himawari 8 or 9, whichever one it is now, as proof of their delusions. Just have a look on Google here. Of course, it's a cartoon fest. Nothing but a cartoon fest. But we're going to pop this silly delusion. And then when you go on the Himawari real time, this is the sort of tosh you'll be met with. Graphics, computer graphics, nonsense. So the Japanese Meteorological Agency own the Himawari satellites. The Himawari geostationary satellites operated by the Japanese Meteorological Agency support weather forecasting, tropical cyclone tracking, and meteorological research. Interesting. Of course, the reason I say interesting is because when we go over to the Japanese Meteorological Agency's website, we see an actual dependence on a very old technology from the Victorian era, which we wouldn't see if the satellites, the Himawari satellites, were real and were actually in space. It turns out, ladies and gentlemen, and this won't be a shock to a lot of the viewers, it turns out the Himawari satellites are actually weather balloons. Because the Japanese Meteorological Agency have to launch weather balloons, I think it's from 16 different sites across Japan twice a day, just like every other country does. But of course I'm using Japan today and their Himawari satellite, and the fact the Japanese Meteorological Agency, the people who supposedly own the Himawari satellite, which of course only provided computer graphics data anyway, which of course has come from weather balloons. Just scrolling down. Radio sondes observe atmospheric conditions, e.g. pressure, temperature, humidity, wind direction and wind speed up to altitudes of around 30k. Radio sondes slowly parachute down once observation is complete. Upper air observation using radio sondes is carried out daily at regular intervals worldwide, 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Radio sonde observation is conducted by the Japanese Meteorological Agency at 16 different locations. Rather revealing. So Japan, which supposedly has these incredible Himawari weather satellites, has to launch 32 weather balloons every single day around its islands to get the same data that the Himawari satellite supposedly gets. Can you not see how ridiculous this is? Then you come down and we see pictures of the Himawari satellites being launched, which of course get launched daily. Here's your locations and here's your map. This won't be a surprise to most who view this channel. Perhaps a few newbies will start to realize here the games at play and the narrative that's being spun regarding space and the place that we reside. You should never trust well-known liars. Never. Particularly when they tell you ridiculous things like satellites are given our weather from space. But yet the very same people that own those satellites rely on Victorian weather balloon technology. Ridiculous.